Hello everybody, my name is Brianne Jimenez and today I'm going to be talking about the three objects that represent who I am as a person. To start off, some of these things aren't like the others and I kind of understand that that's going to be a little weird, but there's a point to it, you'll see. So for my first object, I'm going to be talking about a really weird thing called industrial foam or insulation foam. What this is it's a high density foam usually found in couches or in chairs that are squishy, and I use it for something a little bit more different. This big thing is a big roll of foam. It is about 2 inches thick and I use it in my costumes. This represents a really big part of my life that I like to call art in general. Art in general is pretty much any medium, any kind of art that you can think of, contemporary, literal. And I'd like to really think that art has been a really big part of my life. And a big part of that would be when I was growing up. I grew up as an only child, and that was kind of hard being around a lot of adults and not a lot of kids, so I didn't really make a lot of friends. But when I discovered the art of drawing, the art of painting, most importantly sculpting, I found that I like working with foam. Not necessarily just this kind, there's a lot of kinds, and that really brought me out of my shell, so to speak, and I really owe this squishy stuff a lot. It made me who I am today because it gave me a lot of opportunities in the costuming community known as cosplay. And I actually got to pass that on to my younger sister, who is 15 years younger than me. She was born just a few years ago. And it was really hard for me to connect to her because she's only 6 and I was 15 when she was born. And I just realized that I had something to share with her, and she loved movies and dressing up, being a princess, and I used to make costumes for her until I left to college. And that's just kind of how I realized that I love kids and I love to be around people. So to speak, my next object kind of ties into the same thing because it's associated very closely, and that would be gaming headsets, gaming headphones. So these are actually HyperX's, which are middle line, which is kind of big news for me. I used to go and play video games with Apple headphones, which was really, really hard as going into the gaming industry and such. These headphones are kind of a milestone for me. Again, growing up by myself, it was really hard making friends, really talking to people, even though I loved it. And I associate these with giving me my wings, so to speak, to talk to people and to make new friends. The cosplay community helped me get into this, and I really appreciate all of that help and support. There's a very big part of me that wishes I had found gaming a lot more comforting, so to speak. There's not a lot of good ideas around it, more or less for women or for female gamers, and that's really starting to change, and I'm really happy about that. I'm actually a part of a really, really new group, and I'm happy to say that as a female, I'm pretty much leading that group, and it feels very, very good. It has really opened some doors for me. I was actually introduced to it by one of my good friends who is now my boyfriend. He showed me that video games aren't just for guys, and they are also for girls. And there's not a lot of people who really understand what gaming really is, and to a lot of people it's wasting time, but to people like me, it's a way to make connections across the world. I have friends in Europe, I have friends in Australia, I have friends in Korea, and we all are a big support net for each other, and I wouldn't have it any other way. My next item is, like I had said in the beginning, very out of place. You've seen foam, you've seen a gaming headset. Now, I bring my pride and joy, leather boots. Not cowboy boots, but leather boots. These boots were actually the first pair I ever got, and they mean a lot to me, and I associate them with a really big part of my life. Most notably, it would be when I was going to start high school. My mom actually brought these for me, and she told me the funniest thing about how boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. And it's funny, and now that I look back at it, it's so funny, but for a really long time in high school, I went through a lot of hardships. Being a girl around makeup and cheerleading and all kinds of things like that, it really threw me off of my balance as a person, and I struggled really, really hard with finding where I fit in. And wearing these almost every day just made me realize that I wasn't ever really gonna fit in, and that was okay, because these boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. There's a lot that I associate with growth. These boots don't fit me anymore. I have to buy new ones, but they will always hold some special place in my heart. Combat boots are my favorite kind of shoes, and there's not a lot that I don't associate with these shoes, because they went through a lot right there with me. They were right there every step of the way, helping me build my character and get brave, become a better person, be more kind, listen to people, and these are probably the most precious things I own to this day, aside from foam and my headsets. There's nothing more to look at. You look at these and you see old boots, scraped boots, but I see a lot of memories and a lot of hardships, but also a lot of good times. And those were my 3 items who I associate with myself and the kind of person that I've become today. I look forward to seeing the rest of your items, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to my story and learning how I became the person who I am. Thank you.